Can you imagine the chaos? Sometimes I don't know what the king is thinking.
Over here! Come and have a drink with Hrothgar's king! Try the iceberry ale. It's delicious. I love this place. Back at the keep, I'm always being pulled in a dozen directions. Fighting over here, debating over there, gives me a headache. But here, I can just eat and drink until I pass out. What are you implying? That Korog needs protection? Ha! Iceheart wasn't the first to challenge me, and he won't be the last. Let my enemies come. They'll wind up dead and bloody at my feet. That's what royal servants are for, to clean up the mess. It's a good thing I like you, because the last person who asked me these sorts of questions had the curiosity beaten out of him. But I don't want to fight with you. That's not why I called you here. Are you ready to listen? We opened ORSINIUM to the best and brightest. Crafters, farmers, scholars, anyone who can help bring my vision to life. I leave the details to my wives and mother, but you attracted my attention. Which brings us to the big question. You helped Chief Bosrog. You fought at my side as we defeated Iceheart and his Winterborn warriors. In short, you impress me. People who impress me either turn out to be a help or a hindrance to my plans. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me speak plainly. You could pose a threat to me, but I prefer to consider you an ally. Share a few drinks, like we're doing now. I could use someone like you. Someone to deal with problems that require a more personal touch. Clan chief problems. There are still stubborn chiefs out there who don't agree with my vision, who don't want to see our people united. They're stuck in the old ways, ways that have failed our people time and time again. It's time to change that. You made an impression on Bosrog. Whether he likes it or not, he owes you for helping the clans. The other chiefs respect Bosrog. We can use this whole situation to our advantage. Get them to listen to matters they would normally refuse to hear. For now, nothing. Relax, have a drink. Enjoy all the pleasantries that Roxanne and her fine establishment have to offer. But when I need you, I expect you to be ready and willing to get the job done. Oh, what are those two doing here? Damn it! You two always show up and ruin my fun!
Oh, I have not even begun to ruin your fun, my king. But let's leave the pleasantries for later. We have an urgent situation to report.
I can never tell when you're joking. Fine. What's so important?
The Trinumak temple has been attacked, my beloved. Malakath devotees have barricaded the doors and taken the priests as hostages.
These fanatics dare to attack my city? My people? I'll deal with them personally.
You will do no such thing, my son. After what happened in the throne room, this is undoubtedly a trap.
I won't sit by while they attack my city!
This problem requires a personal solution, and I have a perfect idea. Outsider, let us talk. My son's bravery borders on stupidity. He would run off and stumble blindly into their trap without the slightest regard for his safety. We must not allow that to happen. Oh, child, I always have a better idea. My son's rage makes it difficult for him to see clearly. His instinct is to charge every problem straight on and beat it into submission. His enemies know this, and often use it against him. Basrag and the other clan chiefs know King Kurog all too well. They expect him to attack and kill the heretics, just as the heretics will kill the hostages. Innocent lives will be lost, and blame will fall squarely on Kurog's shoulders. You are an outsider with connections to ORSINIUM that are tenuous at best. Enter the temple and rescue our people. If you succeed, you save innocent lives at the king's request. If you fail, well, at least the king won't be blamed.
Everyone, clear the streets and go home. Let the king's soldiers deal with this. Back away, citizen. We have enough to deal with as it is. Soldiers can't do their job with all you civilians getting underfoot. Just because you carry a weapon doesn't mean you know how to use it. And as you can see, I already have more amateur warriors volunteering to help than I can handle. Why don't you just stand back and leave this to the professionals? Right, and I'm High King Emmerich's long-lost brother. I know what you're trying to do. You're playing a dangerous game, outsider. I hope you realize that. Very well, I'll check with the Forge Mother. But if you've lied to me, I'll hunt you down, toss you in a cell, and throw away the key! I think there's a back entrance up the stairs near the Mages Guild. I sent soldiers to find it. Hurry now.
The king sent you here to rescue the hostages, didn't he? Of course he did. That's why they recruited heroes after all, am I right? Listen, I have a plan. It's brilliant. Wanna hear it? See those hawkers behind me? Don't look. Anyway, they've been acting suspiciously. Standing around, making shifty eyes, showing odd hand gestures to passers-by. I've read enough Investigator Vale books to recognize criminal behavior when I see it. You never read Investigator Vale? The book's about the brilliant scholar who travels the world and solves crimes? She doesn't use magic or weapons. Just her charm and her wits and... Look, I'll lend you a copy later, but we need to focus here. Isn't it obvious? Look at their evil demeanor, their villainous whispering. I bet if we rattle them, they'll run off and lead us right to the hostages. Watch. I'll just let loose an arrow. That should put the fear of Ifray into the survivor. Really? I mean, yes! I knew I liked you for a reason. Once the other one starts to run, don't let him out of your sight. He should lead you right to the hostages. On my mark. Stop, you! Thief! And there goes the other one! Get him!
Hey, I was walking here. Run into me again and I'll knock your teeth out.
Watch where you're going, you idiot!
I have a good mind to throw a lightning bolt at you.
Defend the temple.
Thank Trinamak you're here. Someone has to save my fellow priests inside the temple. Please, I need your help. The priests inside the temple are at the mercy of these fanatics. Please, I think they want to kill my brothers and sisters in Trinamak. Malakath fanatics. They burst into the temple and began rounding up my fellow priests. They spat at us and shouted that we were betraying our race. They said that Chief Basrag sent them to punish us for opposing the true god of the orcs. They made such a commotion when they barged in. I spotted them from the upper balcony and slipped out the back door. I was about to go find help when more of those ruffians surrounded me. I thought I was finished, and then you showed up. They invoked the chief's name, saying he seeks revenge against the king and any who follow the false god. I've known Chief Basrag to be a hard man, but never a cruel man, never a murderer. What has the king done to anger him so? I see. I respect the king and all that he stands for, but his temper, it has gotten us into trouble more times than I care to remember. If it's vengeance Basrag seeks, then the king will be responsible for the deaths of the temple priests. My fellow priests were still alive when I slipped out of the temple, but the tension in the air, I'm afraid violence is inevitable. They set up patrols inside the temple, watching for Kurag and his soldiers. If one of them spots you in there... They're holding the priests captive in the rectory. If one of the torchbearers spots you and reaches the rectory, you won't be able to save them. Avoid the torchbearers at all costs, or at least strike them down before they can sound a warning. Take this key. It will unlock the temple's rear entrance. Once inside, you'll need to find the key to the rectory, where they're holding my fellow priests. The fanatic who gives the orders, their commander, he probably has the key to the rectory. May the luck of Trinamak be with you. I'll inform the guards and try to send more help your way.
Lock the priests in the rectory. As soon as Kurag arrives, we kill them all. did you get in here? No matter. You'll be dead in a moment.
People have arrived. Kill them all!
Please, there's no need for this insanity. Just leave us alone! Thank you for helping us. I thought they were going to kill us.
I'm so shaken.
I don't know how to thank you. These fanatics, they beat us, threatened us. They told us they were going to kill us as soon as the king or his soldiers showed up. But you got in without alerting them. You saved us. The others, though... High Priestess Solgra and our brothers and sisters in Trinimac. The fanatics gathered us up and forced us in here. But Solgra, she isn't one to put up with such nonsense. She put a blade into one of them and ran into the back to help the others. I have the key. I'll open the door for you. Find the others, please. I don't know what Solgra planned to do, but she had that look in her eyes when the fanatics started hurting our people. Solgra and the others should be somewhere through this door.
I've never known fear like this.
I'll find a way to open the main temple doors and let the soldiers in. Good luck. Get her! Don't let her escape!
I'll die before I let you hurt the others.
Killed one of mine. Orders be damned! You're gonna die for that, priestess!
One? I plan to kill a dozen more if you don't leave my temple now.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine once I catch my breath. Just got the wind knocked out of me a little, that's all. Not exactly. They claimed to be devoted followers of Malakath, and said they were working for Chief Bazrag. They caught us by surprise, threatened us. Did you run into Ugus? How are he and the others faring? Well, that puts my mind at ease. I hated leaving them, but the others back here needed help too. But I'm still not completely certain what the attackers hope to accomplish. Why take us hostage? Why not simply kill us and be done with it? Spill the blood of innocents and blame the king for their deaths, for not being able to protect his people. What a fiendish scheme. But the king sent you in his stead. Very astute on his part. That decision may have saved many lives. We were supposed to assume they were Malakath devotees, but they didn't seem particularly religious to me. Even I don't believe Malakath would sanction a slaughter such as this. They mentioned Chief Bazrag, though. Said he gave them their orders. I've always found the chief to be noble, but it doesn't take a lot to change a person. His forts ravaged, his traditions threatened. I can see how such things could lead to this. The king and the Forge Mother must be told what happened here.
This is the last of them! Let's finish these bastards off!
Fan out!
I'm glad to see you and the priest alive. I believe things may have played out very differently if you hadn't agreed to my plan. But what of the High Priestess? Is Solgra all right? That is good news indeed. I will make sure that a military contingent protects this temple going forward. It will not be left undefended again. Increased patrols around the perimeter, soldiers assigned to guard the inside of the temple. The priests will not have to live in fear of another attack, not so long as my son is king. I assume you know who claimed responsibility for this? Bazrag has never agreed with Kurog. He made threats in the throne room, as I'm sure you heard. Besides, his boldness and devotion to Malakath are legendary. It appears Bazrag wishes to challenge our king. My son needs to solidify his hold on the clans. All of the chiefs must accept Kurog as their king for the betterment of the Orsimer people. If we gain support of the clans, we can stop Bazrag without inciting an all-out war. You have done much already. Many lives were in danger, yet somehow you managed to make sure none were lost. Please take this, for being so careful with my people and keeping their safety in mind. We will find you again when the king needs you. Solgra, my child, come join us. Are you injured? Should I call a healer?
Thanks to our friend, I am well and ready to serve.
Yes, our call for assistance has already proven to be a more than worthwhile endeavor.
I have another message for you from the king. It's wonderful to see you again, my friend, but I really wish the king would find someone else to serve as a messenger. I have so many other talents that could greatly benefit ORSINIUM. I have no idea. Although I did hear something or other about a moot of some kind. I suppose the best way to find out is to go and see the king. In the throne room, up at the keep. Hopefully he won't be in too foul of a mood when you get there. He seemed out of sorts when I told him this was the last message I was going to deliver. Either he finds something else for me to do, or I'm leaving.
Nothing but dry bread and old turnips to eat.
Friend and ally has returned. Let's talk. I heard what you did at the temple. Your efforts no doubt saved countless lives. It pains me to learn that Chief Basrag was involved, though. Basrag's never agreed with my plans. He's a traditionalist, stubborn and old-fashioned to the end. His unwavering devotion to Malakath, his hatred of Trinimec, his refusal to recognize my authority. I'd say Chief Basrag is getting desperate. Basrag wants to start a war. Damn it all to oblivion, we'll have to stop him. He has the strength to overwhelm the lesser clans, and he's no suckling cub when it comes to fighting either. If he were to make a challenge for my throne... It's time to assemble the Great Moot. I want you to visit the clan chiefs that still haven't come around to our way of thinking. Talk some sense into them. You need to get to them before Basrag poisons the well and turns them against me. You made an impression already, but don't worry. I'm not expecting them to come just because you asked nicely. The chiefs are stubborn. but they each have a problem that's confounding their clan. Solve their problems, and they'll attend the moot. Now you get it. Help the chiefs, and they'll be obligated to accept your invitation. I've tried to convince the chiefs of Tumnash, Morkel, and Shatul to join my kingdom. I even married a few of their daughters. We need a better solution. Tell them that you come to help in the name of King Kurog, that I'm hosting a gathering of clans, and I want the chiefs to attend. And it needs to be the clan's chief that comes to the moot. If they try to send a subordinate, I'll be highly insulted. Do whatever it takes. The chiefs must attend the moot. I trust you won't fail me. When this is over, Hrothgar will finally be forged into a united kingdom. Meet me at my corner club after you finish. All this planning has given me a powerful thirst. More? What more is there to say? They refuse my every overture and laugh at my authority. We need to convince them of the veracity of my grand vision. Oh, very well. What specifically do you want to know? The stoneworkers? Tumnash operates the Greystone Quarry, the primary source of building materials for ORSINIUM. I'm not sure what Chief Ramash is up to, but he's fallen behind on his shipments. Maybe you can help get the quarry back on track. The Morkel clan is famous for its smiths. Some of the finest arms and armor has come out of their forges. I've been trying to get them to send experts to help us build the city, but Chief Abzug continues to hem and haw. Family troubles, he says. One of the best clans as far as food production and livestock is concerned. Expert hunters and farmers, every one of them. Chief Ogzor promised to send herds of Icharters to help feed the city, but we haven't seen so much as a bushel of apples yet.
Won't you take pity on me?
Welcome. It gladdens my heart that you have an interest in the history of our land and its people. And you found the notice. Wonderful. Of course, the House of Orsimer glories will be even more impressive once all the exhibits have been filled. Ha! I knew that was gold well spent. I've already received 20 visitors thanks to those notes. Oh, but where are my manners? Welcome to the newly established Museum of Hrothgar, authorized by the king himself. Oh, most certainly. The House of Orsimer Glories has a simple mandate. We're here to collect historic treasures related to the Orcs and the Orsimer nation. But I am a simple scholar. I have no aptitude when it comes to searching for ancient relics. I'm not one to turn away an honest helper, but before I ask you to go traipse around in search of historic treasures, why don't you take this downstairs and put it on display? It's the Agra Krun, the Blood Shield. It was recently donated to the museum by an anonymous adventurer, and I can't wait to put it on display. It will be one of our best attractions. You mean as curator? That's an interesting story. I guess you could say that I'm a city orc, born and raised in Wayrest, educated at the finest Breton academies. King Kurog and I met during his travels, and when he offered me this museum, I said yes. Oh, you mean the clan tattoo? Yes, well, I guess you could say that was a gift of sorts. I toured the various clan strongholds when I first arrived, and Chief Bosrog of the Farun clan insisted that I allow his wise woman to mark me. The king wants to preserve and display the culture and history of this land. He believes that a museum is an integral component in the rebuilding of Orsinium and the establishment of the Orsimer kingdom, and I heartily agree. The name means blood shield in the Orcish tongue. The shield belonged to the legendary shield wife, Bagrar Trollslayer. She distinguished herself as the first protector of Malakath's faithful during the time of the Balagog blood purge. I appreciate your help. You wouldn't believe how much goes into getting the museum ready for visitors. Just preparing the displays was a tremendous amount of work. If you're interested, I have a lead on another piece we're seeking, Uzdabich's helm. Have you heard of the mountain called Sorrow, along the northern border of Hrothgar? According to the Berska clan's oral tradition, the helm was last seen in that area. Just be careful. The mountain and the land around it is decidedly treacherous. This one gives me chills. The helmet was worn by the legendary orc hero Uzdabich, who single-handedly slew 1001 Redguards during the Battle of Faran Pass. Little known fact, Uzdabich might have been a woman. For the time period, I'd say so. And even now, as Hrothgar struggles with the clashing cultures of city and stronghold, examples such as this go a long way toward making the king's point. Besides, a little scandal always attracts visitors.
I never knew the orcs were capable of building such wonders.
I should have been at my husband's side. He'd still be alive, and I'd still be his hunt wife. Well, look upon my husband and weep, for his next journey is to the Ashen Forge. Perhaps a new chief will deal with Kurog's latest nonsense. Until then, leave us to our misery.
don't see many new faces at Chatul range. Our only neighbors are surly giants. Speaking of which, Chief Ogzor had a nasty encounter with a giant's club a short while ago. Best keep your voice low. We don't know how much time he has left. Dying. No amount of healing magic can fix smashed brains. Soon as he goes, Chatul is in for dark times. The clan will tear itself apart without a good contender for chief. I want to prevent that. We know which giant smashed the chief. I want to return the favor. That'll show the clan I'm a good contender, which would help keep the clan together. Thing is, I'm no tracker. Care to help me find the bastard? I have a few words to say to Chief Ogzor's mother. I'll meet you where Urkael the Cleaver's tracks begin. Don't know why we call him that. He carries a club. I don't really know. Most giants are surly enough. Urkael the Cleaver, we've come to learn, is a mean drunk. Once, he tore off an Echater's crest and tossed it across the snow like he was skipping a stone. Heard they found it in Farin's stronghold. You're right. Only made it 100 paces before it slammed into a tree. Took half a day to saw that bloody crest out. We tried to reattach the thing, but the Echater wanted nothing to do with it. Most of Chatul's warriors died in the first Winterborn raids. Without a good contender for chief, neighbor will fight neighbor for a title they can't hope to hold. We can't afford that, after losing so much to the raiders. Truth is, everyone's afraid. The chief kept this clan together for 2 decades. A strong contender will quiet their nerves. Slaying the giant who killed Chief Ogzor? None will doubt my strength. You want me to quote the Code of Malakath? Go on about vengeance and grudges? I've had my fill of that. Something I learned around all these Echater. The ones who bray the loudest never lead the pack. Someone whose actions speak loudest. Someone like Chief Ogzor. Yes, I want to be chief. I spent 2 decades watching this clan prosper under his guidance. I'm not relaxed. I just wasn't willing to kill my best friend for his clan. Contenders for chief fight it out in the Bloody Knoll. It's our shrine to Malakath, up on the hill. He who emerges is chief. Simple as that. I don't really know. Most giants are surly enough. Urkael the Cleaver, we've come to learn, is a mean drunk. Once, he tore off an Echater's crest and tossed it across the snow like he was skipping a stone. Heard they found it in Farin's stronghold. You're right. Only made it 100 paces before it slammed into a tree. Took half a day to saw that bloody crest out. We tried to reattach the thing, but the Echater wanted nothing to do with it. Most of Chatul's warriors died in the first Winterborn raids. Without a good contender for chief, neighbor will fight neighbor for a title they can't hope to hold. We can't afford that, after losing so much to the raiders. Truth is, everyone's afraid. The chief kept this clan together for 2 decades. A strong contender will quiet their nerves. Slaying the giant who killed Chief Ogzor? None will doubt my strength. Ha! Exactly! Oh, you were asking. Well, I never challenged Chief Ogzor, even though people thought I could take him. But how could I kill my friend? Contenders for chief fight it out in the Bloody Knoll. It's our shrine to Malakath, up on the hill. He who emerges is chief. Simple as that. Well, of course. That's how it's always been. Never thought about it any other way. I suppose it's possible. Still, I wouldn't wish that on any woman. She'd face constant challenge. Whispers behind her back, bitter sulking, the petty disrespects you expect from children, but all from grown orcs who should know better. We travel where the Echater travel. Can't say it'd be good if the chief was stuck here defending him, herself, I mean. I wouldn't want to put my... right. Let's find Urkale the Cleaver. Is that a track? Sorry. It's just some melted snow. Are we lost? It feels like we're lost. I'll just follow you. Should I be quiet? Don't want to disturb your tracking. I'll be quiet. Yazara? Yazara! Guess she's out. Listen, we both know you're the one who avenged the chief. Happy I could land a few good smacks. I'll tell Yazara when she's back. You deserve the credit. That's up to the clan. I'm only doing it because Shatul needs a chief. Can't say I enjoy staking a claim while my friend is dying in that tent. I'm not so sure I want to be chief again. Small clan. Our stronghold let Shatul camp there in the summers, in return for choicest pick of a chater. Chief Ogzor wanted to strengthen the bond by marrying away his daughter. Ashruka was to be my hunt wife, but that didn't happen. Ashruka refused to be traded like the choicest pick of a chater. She chose exile rather than marry me. A month later, raiders from the Reach wiped out my whole clan. Chief Ogzor took me in. Don't really know. Shatul tries not to talk about its exiles. Chief Ogzor forbade anyone from speaking of her. I think he blamed himself for pushing her away. After her mother died, Ashruka and her father were always at odds. It was inevitable. No, I've always respected how Ashruka held her ground, and I wasn't too keen on the match. I'd known her since she was a child, so going from Uncle Lorig to husband, we call that a Valenwood marriage. But don't let a wood orc hear you say it. Never. Chief Ogzor knew I'd consider that a dishonor after what he'd done for me, and Shatul needed my muscle. It wasn't charity, if that's what you're thinking. It was my own fault. I was more full of pride than sense back then. Shatul warned us of Reachmen they'd seen, prowling through the hills. I thought Chief Ogzor was trying to make up for Ashruka running off. Didn't pay it much mind. Then my clan was gone. Chief Ogzor's mother, Shatul's wise woman, though she hates it when we call her that. It falls to her to select the candidates for chief, and she's right over there. Yazara, look! I cut this off her kill the cleaver. My friend here struck the killing blow.
Impressive, Larig. Why don't you show the others?
Sound advice, as always.
Come closer. We should speak. You avenged my son. I will not forget what you did for Shatul today, nor will the clan. If you are willing, I have need of someone so capable. If Shatul is to survive, there must be a new chief. Larig is one contender. The other is Ulgesh. I want you to meet him. Ulgesh returned from ORSINIUM shortly after my son's injury. He declared himself a contender, but I'm not sure why. The boy never had brains or ambition. Serving in the ORSINIUM Guard was my son's suggestion. Shatul needs a chief who looks out for the clan before himself. We have no walls to hide behind, only our wits and our skill herding a Chatir. If Ulgesh has neither, I need to know. I sent him after Scamper, our laziest at Chatir. Ulgesh can explain the task. He's never been talkative, but see what you can learn as you aid each other. I'll want to speak with you when you return.
Who are you? I don't need your help. All right, let's finish this so I can get back to the clan. Yazara asked for a snow truffle. This lazy beast can sniff it out. But it's a two-person job. I can't keep Scamper and hunt for a snow truffle. No clue. A potion, maybe? You scout ahead, find a truffle patch. Give a whistle. I'll send Scamper your way. Scamper will sniff the patch. If there's a snow truffle, he'll dig it up. You grab it and bring it to Yazara. Got it? Scamper is fast asleep. Give him a good kick to wake him. Near boulders or trees. Lots of them between here and Shatul. It's why they camp here in the winter. I lived in ORSINIUM for years. Sometimes I forget Shatul is home. Just find the snow truffle. It's cold out here. Use your nose, Scamper. Nothing in this patch. I think he found one. That's the snow truffle. I think he found one. Scamper earned some sleep. Let's get back to Stöd. I think he found one. Get that snow truffle to Yazara. And thanks. I won't forget your help.
Did you find Olgesh? Good. Give it here. Olgesh passed my test. Scamper has always required 2 people to wrangle. For Olgesh to send you back with the snow truffle tells me he learned to master his temper. Lorig and Olgesh are the only clear contenders for Chief. They must enter the Bloody Knoll and duel beneath the stern gaze of Malakath. The one who emerges shall be the new Chief of Stöd. I have not forgotten what you did for us. On behalf of Stöd, I name you Bloodkin. You shall always have a place among us. I already sent Lorig to the Bloody Knoll. Could you inform Olgesh he is to fight? I would do so, but I must attend to my son. Olgesh should be at his tent. And thank you for the snow truffle, Bloodkin. Sometimes the smallest favors are hardest to repay. It was my son's favorite food. His hearthwife. She has dozens of recipes. He loved them all. He won't be able to taste it. His mind, you see, there's nothing left of him. But I'll mix it into the poison so he enjoys it one last time. The poison I shall feed the husk that remains of his body. No, it is me, murdering my own son. Stöd must survive. Before a new chief is chosen, the old chief must die. By the time Lorig and Olgesh reach the Bloody Knoll, the poison will finish its work. Malakath will take no offense. I doubt that. An orc of Stöd would truly understand. You are neither. Yet you are bloodkin to our clan, and your words give me the strength to do what must be done. Stöd must survive.
Over here. We need to talk. You looked different from inside Olgesh's helmet. Ushruka, exiled daughter of Chief Ogzor. Soon the new chief of Stöd. A merchant friend keeps me informed of Stöd. When she brought word of my father's injuries, I had to return and contend for chief. Stöd must survive. As an exile, I'm not allowed to enter Stöd. But Olgesh is no exile. I traded him a new set of armor for his old, then returned to my clan. My own grandmother couldn't tell the difference. The real Olgesh has a squeak in his voice. One day, he paid Morkel's forge wife to make him sound like an ogre. He always wore the helmet everywhere he went. It still smells like sweaty breeches and onions. I cleaned it 3 times. Nothing worked. Lorig is a fine warrior, better than my father. But that's the problem. He never challenged my father. He's like an Achater bull that refuses to mate, no matter how much ginger pulp you feed him. I haven't thought about that in years. He was always Uncle Lorig to me. Taught me how to play chop. Always called me Little One, even when I was nearly his height. I looked up to him. Then Father insisted I become his hunt wife. Lorig's heart was never in the match, but refusing would have led to a feud. Father was insufferable. A chief's daughter must bear the clan's burdens. But children are a burden I don't ever plan to bear. Not for the clan, not for anyone. Have you been to Orsinium? The king hammers away at traditions which keep orcs locked in squalid strongholds. He tempers us, forges us into something new, something better. I will become chief of Shatul, and in a decade, it will become tradition. Some won't. They may challenge me, and I'll have to kill them. But when any other clan clucks about the Code of Malakath, Shatul will band together as we always do. We'll triple their rate on a charter, a built-in blood price for the disrespect. I think we'll get rich off the Malakath zealots. That will make the king happy. And if he asks me to be his chief wife, I'll decline. But I'll offer him the chance to be my king husband. Now I head to the Bloody Knoll. There I will kill Lorig and become chief of Shatul. For this to work, my grandmother must know my intentions. Inform her, and I swear upon my mother's memory, I will repay the favor when I am chief. Gladly. Tell her the truth. I don't care if she approves. She will need to prepare the clan for my success. If Malakath disapproves, he can strike me down in the Bloody Knoll. But Shatul must survive. Go. There's little time.
My son, Chief Ogzor, is dead. Lorig waits at the Bloody Knoll. Is Olgesh on his way? What? Ushruka was exiled from Shatul. I would never allow her to contend for chief. That foolish girl. We're a traditional clan. Shatul will never accept an exiled woman as chief. Had she become Lorig's hunt wife as my son wanted, Shatul would have stayed for the wedding. We would have been there when the Reach attacked Lorig's clan. Her selfishness led to their destruction. A chief who lost his entire clan to raiders from the Reach? He refused to challenge my son, to give him an honorable death under Malakath's gaze, because of friendship. No matter his prowess in battle, he is soft in the heart. Take this ritual blade. It is flawed at its core, just like Lorig and Ushruka. Replace the blade of the weakest contender. When the blade fails, the weakest contender will most assuredly die. If she... Go, there is little time. Malakath favor the victor.
Ashruka? You have to go. If Ulgesh sees you, he'll kill you.
Ulgesh is in Orsinium. He sold me his armor before I came to Shatul.
No. What have you done?
Shatul must survive. Don't hold back, Lorig.
Malakath favor the victor.
Goodbye, Uncle Lorig.
You've returned. Who is the new chief of Shatul? I see. I convinced our clan that Ashruka's victory would test our faith in Malakath's favor. They'll accept her. For now. If she allows it, I shall advise her. She'll need all the help she can get. You alone emerged from the Bloody Knoll. Did you pray to Malakath for your victory?
I needed no prayers, only my strength.
Then go forth, my chief, and receive your clan. Shatul, I present your new chief.
Know this, my clan. A new era begins today. The era of the Orc. At King Kurog's side, we shall lead Tamriel to greatness!